2 Christians are killed in an attack on a Kathmandu church.
We begin our report in the Himalayan nation of Nepal. Militant Hindus claim responsibility for a bomb blast that killed 2 and injured 14 others at a Catholic church. At least 250 people were attending services at Assumption Church May 23rd when a plastic bag left in a seat exploded. Both of the deceased victims were Indian. One was a 15-year-old girl. The other was a 30-year-old newlywed visiting family in Nepal. The injured included a 10-year-old boy. The attack was the work of the Hindu Defense Army, a group with ties to Indian extremist groups. Its members killed a Catholic priest last year. They are pledging to rid Nepal of all Christians and Muslims.
At least 4 people are dead and 11 missing after a large dam ruptured in Brazil this week. At least 120 homes have been destroyed. The region is already devastated by more than a month of floods. CBN's Operation Blessing is bringing relief to flood victims. OB has distributed a month's supply of food to more than 350 families, and the aid organization is bringing food kits to another 100 families in hard-to-reach areas. Operation Blessing is also helping to equip a few local churches to set up clinics with a team of doctors and nurses.
Hundreds of people in Central America are homeless after Thursday's deadly earthquake. The 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit just off the coast of Honduras. At least 6 people are dead, including 4 children found in the rubble. 40 other people were injured. The powerful quake also caused one of the country's largest bridges to collapse. Latin American correspondent Laura Romero told us some churches were also damaged.
We have received information of Catholic churches in the central area of the territory with several damages in their infrastructure. Here in San Pedro Sula, Ebenezer Church suffered the loss of one of their main walls of the temple. The international organization Samaritan's Purse has already started to mobilize the helping teams, and they say that many Christians from different denominations have united to help those in need.
Countries all over Central America felt the quake, but so far the damage is only contained to Honduras and Belize.
In developing nations, people who suffer from treatable diseases often die for lack of proper medical care.
A U.S. Christian humanitarian agency is embarking on a new project to help save some of the youngest victims. Odga may never reach adulthood. This Mongolian boy, like many others living in undeveloped countries, suffers from a serious heart defect. And even if his parents could afford it, local doctors rarely have the training or facilities for this kind of heart surgery. But there's hope for Odga. Hundreds of children are getting free surgeries at some of the finest hospitals in the United States, thanks to the Children's Heart Project, sponsored by Christian charity Samaritan's Purse. The medical program brings young patients and their parents to cooperating U.S. hospitals for free heart surgery. During their 5 to 6 week stay, patients are surrounded by volunteers, from host families to the surgeons themselves. So far, the Children's Heart Mission has provided life-changing operations for more than 550 children with congenital heart defects. Dr. Craig Sable is with the Children's National Medical Center in Washington, D.C. He's also a volunteer with Samaritan's Purse Children's Heart Project. Recently, Dr. Sable told our own Gary Lane about the children who are helped through the project.
We focus on children that have congenital heart defects. These are holes in the heart and or blockages to blood flow in the heart. About 1 out of 100 children are born with a heart defect. It's the most common birth defect and affects millions of children worldwide. The Children's Heart Project focuses specifically on children in countries that otherwise wouldn't have access to care that we have in the United States. Many of these children have curable heart defects that could be fixed with a single surgery or heart catheterization, yet they live in countries where that type of care is not available, and without the work we do, they would die at a very young age.
Well, I understand that you're working with a couple of patients in D.C. right now. What can you tell us about them?
Well, the 2 children's names are Desire and Tevin. They're both little boys between 14 and 18 months old. They have similar problems. They had severe blockage of blood flow to the lungs that, without treatment, probably would have shortened their life expectancy to under 10 years. Last Tuesday, both of them underwent successful heart catheterizations, which involve putting a small catheter through an IV in the groin and using X-ray guidance, blowing a balloon up across the valve. And after the procedure, both of them were essentially cured of their problem and should live a normal life. They were both finished by noon that day and left Children's Hospital 24 hours after their procedure. They're now home playing normally and by report are doing better than ever.
That's amazing. Describe the changes for us that this makes in their quality of life.
With treatment, most of these children can have a normal life, be off medicines, and the change in their activity level is just dramatic. I think there's even additional benefits in that many of the older children who really understand what they're gaining from this become very active in the work we're doing, and many of them have stated they want to go into medicine and help do work for Samaritan's Purse in the countries we treat them in.
What makes a Samaritan's Purse involvement special?
Well, I think what has been so wonderful about working with Samaritan's Purse is that they really focus on every aspect of the project from start to finish, and from as soon as we identify a child who may be a candidate for our program in Uganda, the Samaritan's Purse officials in Uganda really adopt these children into their own family. They provide social support for the families. They keep them updated on the chance of their child being placed. Once they do get placed in our program and have either a surgery in Uganda or in the United States, they provide all the support to make sure that they know what they're going to go through, and then afterwards they go visit the children in their homes and just do a spectacular job of supporting the family and the medical personnel that work with the charity.
Samaritan's Purse is now telling these children's stories in a new reality TV series featuring Sissy Graham Lynch. She's the daughter of Samaritan's Purse President Franklin Graham. And for more information about the show, you can check on our website, cwnews.org.